Hello, Dental B Schoolers. I am so excited today. We have a Dental B School instructor, the man, the myth, the legend. It's Art Wiederman. Art is a CPA with Eide Bailey. And tell us a little bit about yourself, Art.
Well, I don't know about the man, the myth, the legend, but I've been a dental CPA for 36 years, Kimberly. I started my career at the firm Deloitte Haskins and Sells and started working in 1984 as a dental CPA with my own, with actually the Pride Institute, which was the Pacific Institute back then, and had my own firm starting in 1989 and have been doing CPA work for dentists pretty much my whole career. And
Yeah.
our firm merged with another local firm about 3 years ago. And then about 3.5 months ago, we merged with this wonderful CPA firm called Eide Bailey.
Yes. Yes. And let me tell you guys, sometimes when I bring this up to people, that I'm going to ask them 5 questions on the spot, they get nervous. Let me tell you, Art doesn't get nervous. Art knows everything. He's not worried. He can rattle off the numbers and the facts and everything. And so I'm super excited to have you today with us.
Well, thank you for having me on your show, Kimberly.
Yeah. Okay, so first, what we're going to do is a couple of just questions these are our young Dental B School students. What is the best piece of financial advice, CPA advice, that you would give to young dentists who want to become practice owners? Just one piece.
Plan, absolutely plan. Um, Find a really good dental coach or consultant who can help you with your systems and your vision for your practice. Um, that is the best thing I can do. Become a business person,
Mhm.
working on budgets and working on your vision and leadership skills are so important. Take classes on leadership and learn how to be a great leader of a team. If you do that, you're going to be so successful.
I love that. I love that. And that is definitely what we're working on with B School. We're trying to get them the education they need and the leadership skills, all of that. So I also love that, we're talking to a CPA and yet the first thing that you have to say is talking about leadership. That's really interesting and cool.
Yeah,
Um,
and it is. I mean, it is the number one thing that we talk to our clients about is, when you go to the dental convention, go to courses. Don't go to courses on margins or occlusion or TMJ, although that's all important.
mhm.
Go to courses on leadership and, most importantly, how to communicate and talk to your patients, because
I love
that's
that.
really what's successful.
So cool. Okay. Similar, but not the same. And what is a common mistake? So probably I would think in the financial realm, but you let me know. Is there something that a lot of young dentists come to you? They've just started, and then they're like, "Oh no, what have I done?" Or you're like, "Oh no, what did you do?"
Well, I think Kimberly, the most important answer to this question is the most common mistake is changing too many things too quickly. When you purchase a practice,
Mhm.
you are basically taking over a new team. Every patient is a brand new patient. And the patients are used to, and the team is used to what the old doctor does. Now, if you're starting a practice from scratch, it's a little bit of a different conversation. But for the doctor who's buying the practice, the best thing that he or she can do is to go in there and just see how it goes. Get to know everybody. Get a
Mhm.
feel for how the office is working.
Okay.
Okay. Don't do anything that is going to be completely contrary to what the other doctor was doing.
Okay.
In other words, if the schedule was what the schedule was, keep it that way. That doesn't mean down the road you can't change it, but start talking to your team. But I and they bring in a lot of new technology right away, and they change the
Mhm.
systems. They change the date of the payroll. All
Mhm.
these little changes are going to make the dental team and the patients nervous. And I was talking to one doctor, Kimberly, who was telling me that um, when he owned his practice before he sold it, when the owner of the building painted the building, the patients complained because they were used to the color of the building before it was painted. So you start making all these changes, changing furniture, changing
Mhm,
equipment.
mhm.
People don't like that. And when you're
Yeah.
buying a dental practice and you're the one that's the new person, you want to make everything as similar as to what it was when the old doctor owned it. And then, down the road, 3, 6, 9,
Gradually.
12 months, go ahead and start slowly implementing whatever changes and put whatever footprint onto the practice that you want to do.
Okay, I like that. You have got a career as a consultant as your next.
I seem like I'm doing that now, but
No,
yeah,
no,
thank you.
yeah. Okay, this one is a little more specific to you. Are there any, like, just one term or a lingo, something that might scare off young dentists talking to you, but it's really not that hard to understand? It's just this means this.
Huh. Not really. CPA terms. I mean, we talk about debits and credits. We never have to talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
QuickBooks is important for
Mm-hmm.
dentists to know
Mm-hmm.
because that's an important program for them to understand. But mostly, that's what we do. We handle the terms. They don't really, we can explain to them what is depreciation and stuff, but collections and things like that. Not really.
Yeah.
There's really nothing that what they need to know is they need to find a CPA. They need to find someone who's dental specific, who understands their profession.
Mm-hmm.
And, we can walk them through what they need to know. They need to know how to, pretty much use QuickBooks, pretty much. That's what most people do. But
Right.
I don't know if there's really a lingo term.
Okay.
In fact, they've got so much to deal with. We don't want to have them dealing with stuff that they don't need to deal with. That's what they have us for.
Right. I love it. Awesome. Perfect. So let's talk about, like, our situation today, which is crazy. What is an obstacle right now that new practice owners are dealing with and coming to you saying, but this doesn't seem normal. This is different today than when I learned it, perhaps.
Well, the dental part is probably not going to be any different than what they learned.
Right.
It's going to be dealing with insurance and insurance companies. Many doctors have to, if they purchase a practice, many of the doctors will have to um, take, for example, the Delta PPO plan. They would have to take. That is a decrease in revenues they'll have to get used to. Um, right now in the middle of a pandemic, Kimberly, you've got probably 20 to 25% of the patients in a practice not only are not ready to go to a dental office, they're not ready to go to the grocery store. They're not ready to walk out of their houses.
It's
And
true.
so you're going to see a lot of patients who are just going to say, "I'm not ready," even though a dental office is probably the safest place in America to go.
Absolutely.
Um, so that's an obstacle. And
Mm-hmm.
I also think that it's important, patient education, because you've got people you're dealing with who have been out of work, they've been unemployed. You've got other people that have saved some money and they're okay. But I think it's important for patients, the doctors, to communicate to patients how important it is for the connection between their mouth and their
Mm-hmm.
immune system to fight this COVID
Yep.
19. So that's not really an obstacle. But again, a lot of patients are they're afraid to come into the dental office, and I think that if you can remind them that we are wearing face masks, we're wearing N95 masks, we're wearing face shields and gowns, and we have all the latest sanitation and air filtration equipment. And,
Mm-hmm.
and and I mean, I went to my dentist about 3 months ago, and I had no problem. It
Yeah.
is a very, very safe place to go.
Absolutely. What I like is that it almost ties back to your first answer. It sounds to me like it's still communication. It's communication, education, and making sure that, the things that you're doing are being telegraphed to the patient so they feel comfortable.
Yeah, and when I talk in the lectures and in the podcast that I do, I talk to young dentists about the fact that, I'm a CPA. Holding myself out as a CPA, Kimberly, basically says that I am telling the public that I know how to do the work of a CPA. I know how to do accounting, I know how to do taxes, and I happen to do them very well.
Mhm.
You as a dentist is the same. But the fact is, people don't come to you because you were number one in your class in dental school. They come to you as a dentist because they trust you, they understand you, and you give them, and you care about them. And,
Mhm.
and and that, I think, is the most important thing that dentists, young dentists who are practice owners, is gaining patients' trust. If they can gain the trust of the patient, and again, remember, a lot of our new dentist owners are in their late 20s, early 30s, and they're talking to people that are old enough in many cases to be their parents, sometimes grandparents, and they have to gain trust.
Mhm.
So that's a big deal.
Yeah. That's very good. I love it. Well, you've made your way very swimmingly through the first four. So the most important question,
Uh-oh.
this is just for fun, but what is something that just takes up too much of your time?
Administration. I mean, we have to fill out, as CPAs, we have to fill out timesheets and keep track of our time. I tell dentists I wish we could bill our time based on ADA or CDT codes, but that doesn't work that way.
Uh-huh.
Okay, it's $50 for this and $80 for that. It doesn't work that way. So we have administration and software. I mean, what we do in our business, Kimberly, is very software intensive. Tax programs, accounting programs, work stream. We have to keep track of all of our clients and uh, whose
Mm,
due dates for their tax returns and
sure.
things
Yeah.
like that. So I would say administration takes up too much of my time. That's my biggest complaint. If I could just talk to my clients, do my planning, do my tax work,
Hmm.
I'd be a
Yeah.
very happy camper.
Yeah. I bet dentists would probably agree on their own on that side as well.
They probably would.
Yeah. Well, this was awesome talking to you. And you did mention your podcast. Let everyone know what that is again.
Sure. The podcast is called The Art of Dental Finance and Management with Art Wiederman. It's available on Apple. You can actually go to www.idebailey.com. And if you click on industries and you click on dental, there will be links to our podcast. But if you just go to your app on your phone, either an Android or an iPhone, you just go to your podcast app, put in the search engine, and we just recorded our 100th episode a couple of weeks ago, which was a wonderful interview with the executive director of the American Dental Association, Dr. Kathleen O'Loughlin, and she tells the whole story about how ADA got involved in figuring out what to do back in January about COVID. Fascinating interview. So yeah, it's got we interview all the industry leaders.
I loved the one recently. You did the Lakers guy.
Yes, I did. One of my clients for 30 years was the team dentist for the Los Angeles Lakers and the Los Angeles Kings. And that was really fun. I've had Ali Ramshian on the, Ali and I have shared stage during the pandemic, a dozen times. I love the guy. He's amazing. He's just one of the
Yes,
best guys around.
founder of
Really,
Dental School. Yep.
yeah, absolutely. So
Well,
yeah, so please listen to the podcast. I think you'll learn a lot. And
absolutely.
we've also got all the old ones. It's almost a library of practice management and finance and all different kinds of categories.
I love that. And Art is one of the best. So we've put your information up there if they're looking for
Thank
somebody
you.
to help. And other than that, Dental B School, we are here for you. We want to help you in your practice ownership journey. We've got tons of resources like our instructors, like Art, like Ollie, like Catherine Nitel Belt, who was on here last
Oh,
week. And
yeah.
Dental B School is just a really great one-stop shop for the things that you need to become a practice owner. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you so much, Art, the man,
Thank
the myth,
you, Kimberly. Thank you. And thank you and Ali and your whole team for putting together Dental B School. I think it's an invaluable resource for young dentists who they don't get a lot of this in dental school. They really don't. And this is just information that they absolutely need. So thank you for doing this.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. We'll see you soon. Bye.